Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the Social Liability Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the people in our lives that violate the social contract we've all agreed to live by. I'm your host, the Raspberries, with my co host, the Buck Rundle. Just two middle aged guys complaining about the world in general for the people that just seem like they just can't fit into the social dynamic we all have. So, Buck, we've typically in all of our past episodes, we've had one subject, but I think this week, for this episode, we actually have three.
Well, kind of. Listening to some feedback from a couple of people, we decided that, maybe it would be better to kind of introduce how other people, in the news, I guess would be the best way of putting it, but how other people are being social liabilities in their own rights. And we have some real pearls to give you as an example.
Now,
And
these are
yeah,
these are things you're not going to find in the New York Times. I'm going to put it to you that way.
right. And I specifically have been targeting things that you wouldn't see on the front page. You wouldn't see this on your Fox News notification banner.
Okay. So what do you got for the first one?
All right. So, believe it or not, pulled this right from the front page. Our good friends at Reddit, and this is an article about a fake doctor giving free breast exams. I'm going to say, just in case you misheard me, again, that's a fake doctor giving free breast exams.
I have played one on TV. I'm just putting that out there.
You know what? I would play a fake doctor anywhere except for giving free breast exams, because that's pretty bold. Like that is very bold. And
so how'd this guy pull it off?
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and try to paint you this picture by reading you this very short article, and it should really connect the dots for anybody. So, without further ado, imagine answering your door to a doctor saying he will examine you for free in the comfort of your own home.
Well, that sounds great. I don't have to go anywhere.
Right. Does it sound too good to be true? Yeah, it probably is. In Broward County, Florida.
Florida man.
Yes. Believe me, the plot thickens here.
Okay. Well, anytime you have Florida man in the article, you know it's going to be gold.
Well, yeah, okay. A 76-year-old Florida man showed up offering free breast exams in a Lauderdale Lakes apartment complex, in which two women actually took him up on the offer.
He actually got some takers. Now, I'm wondering, is this a retirement community? Or just a random apartment complex where the dude rolled up on? It could be either one, really. I mean, is it just a random apartment complex?
I don't know if he targeted this out of it being random, or because the article really doesn't say why he picked
Continue on.
All right. So, let's see here.
He lost his place.
Philip, I did, unfortunately. So, we'll just edit that out. No, but no, we won't. And I'm gonna go ahead and not say this gentleman's name. No, I changed my mind. I'm totally going to. It got posted on the internet. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy out on blast.
You already said his name was Philip, so go on.
Yeah. Philip Winikoff, pretending to be a certified doctor, went door to door offering to check women's breast lumps. And despite his cool-looking black doctor's bag and claiming to be from a local hospital, Winikoff was actually a shuttle driver for a nearby car dealership. Yeah. I guess being a shuttle driver is now worthy of the title doctor, considering he actually convinced 2 women he was legit. That I got to stop there. This is just golden. Okay? The guy, and again, working at car dealerships, like I could totally see a dealer trade driver or a shuttle driver totally getting a wild hair up his butt one day and being like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to put it on red and spin the wheel and see if I can't grab some women's titties and call it a day. Like that.
And he won. I mean, he won the lotto on that one because he actually got 2 of them, apparently.
I mean, seriously, like, that's just awesome. So.
Well, see, here's the whole thing. Like, we've all... Okay, let's get real here, kids. Let's get real. Everyone here listening to this podcast has watched pornography. Shocking, I know. How many of us have seen the old casting couch? Well, guess what? It's fake. Those are all fake. But
it really is.
I have had this conversation with somebody where we sat down and we thought to ourselves and we said, self, because that's what we call ourselves, could we pull this off? Could we convince, is there people out there stupid enough to say porn auditions at the local Motel 6? And,
you know,
and you know, as long as it's not prostitution, as long as there's a camera there, okay? So that's the whole concept. Would there be people stupid enough to do that? And we decided, you know, there's got to be somebody out there, but you'd have to go through a whole lot of people with common sense before you got to that one idiot. And if they're that stupid, do you really want what they have on offer? Probably not. But apparently, when you're a 76-year-old shuttle driver for a car dealership that happens to get himself a cool leather bag from the Goodwill or what have you, any titty in a storm, apparently.
Right. And, you know, according to the article here, the first woman was tipped off that this dude's, you know, whole
credentials might not be valid.
Yeah. Again, quoting the article here, the first victim said as soon as Winnikoff's hands started wandering to the other parts of her body, she said she called the police. Okay. So who couldn't see that one coming? I mean, like, seriously.
Well, in for $1.
I mean, like, you know what?
In for a dime, in for $1, dude.
You know what? I mean,
got
like,
them out. Why not?
Talk about a pound of flesh, right? But, you know, where else do you think this could go? I mean, like, seriously, the guy... I'm almost speechless by this. This guy is just...
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be disgusted or give this guy an award.
I was about ready to see if I could find him on Facebook.
Say congratulations, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, hey, give this guy a gold star and 2 smiley faces next to his name. I mean, like, seriously.
I mean, so it takes some. Let's if nothing else, it takes some balls. I mean,
right.
You gotta have nuts the size of freaking apples if you're gonna be pulling that one off.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. I mean, like, this is great. Like, I mean, seriously, I saw this and I was like, we gotta share this.
That was the first one you sent me, so yeah.
It was because, I mean, seriously, like, this dude's mugshot and everything. I mean, like, this guy looks like a freaking trooper. I seriously, I don't think I'd let him touch me with your hands, but...
Is he at least smiling in the mugshot?
No.
Oh,
no.
Poor guy.
I'll tell you what, I made everybody smile for their mugshots when we worked in the prison.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
As a matter of fact, you were smiling in your mugshot.
I insisted. It made me approachable.
Now, I say mugshot. Now, let me rephrase that. We used the same camera that we took the mugshots with to make our work IDs with. And everybody's was just stone cold except for Buck's, which was the biggest, stupidest, shitting grin you've ever seen. And the lieutenants made you change that how many times?
They didn't make me well, the lieutenants tried to make me change it. The warden when we got our new male Marine warden, you know which one I'm referring to. He did not like it at all, and actually took me back to the camera place to make me change it. And one of our sergeants on first shift basically went, "No, I like seeing that picture every day. That picture makes me smile no matter how bad my day's going. He can walk back here and I just see that picture and everything goes away." I'm like, you see, there's a method to my madness. But as going back to the meat and potatoes here. So the woman calls the police and Winnicott immediately fled out of the apartment to only offer his fake health services to another woman. So instead of...
Well, that's okay. Let's face reality. A 76-year-old man is not going away quickly.
Well, the thing is, though, is that after you've been caught, after the woman finds out that you're totally a fake doctor, which really should not have gone as far as him laying his hands upon you for that to come to light, but whatever. Better late than never.
He's tweaking my nipple. I don't think this guy's legit.
Instead of running away, like at whatever speed you can run, instead of fleeing the scene, you say, well, this dog ain't gonna run anymore, so I'm just gonna go ahead and see if a blind squirrel can get a nut over here. and goes off and finds another woman to take him up on his services. Now, eventually,
we have her story too.
No, I don't think that she had very much to contribute here. But eventually, the Broward County Sheriff's deputies finally located Winnicott. Finally.
Glad to see all that time in the academy and this hard police work paid off.
The finest of Broward County finally located this guy. I can't imagine. He must have taken some extra Geritol this morning to get away from all of that police presence, but whatever.
I have to wonder if they, and I actually not wonder. I have to imagine in my mind they brought the dogs out for this.
I would love to think so. It does not stay, but either way. So after they finally get to him, he gets 3 counts of sexual battery, 2 counts of practicing medicine without a license, 2 counts of simple battery, and 1 count of using the title of doctor without a license.
Okay. It sounds like they're digging a little deep on that one, considering they already got him for practicing.
Hey, you know what? If he's going to be going out trying to see how many women he can convince to get free breast exams, why wouldn't the police go ahead and throw everything they could in there just to see if something sticks? And that's...
It's still funny. It's still funny.
It really is. But again, this is the article giving their highlights on this. They say, honestly, this man must have been miserable and bored to come up with this type of scheme. And just by trying the same thing twice in the same place is absurd. How anyone would think of them getting away with this is crazy. Almost as crazy as the 2 women who allowed this man to enter their homes in the first place. Doctors going door to door hasn't been heard of since back in the 80s, early 90s maybe.
In some rural communities, there still is the doctors that make house calls. But
yeah, but still.
But I mean, let's face reality. Are you sitting at home watching Oprah or The View or what have you, and hi, I'm here to grope a titty, and you're just gonna say, well, come on in. I'll make tea.
I mean, I don't think it would have been miserable and bored that made him come up with this scheme. Again, the man works at a car dealership. I imagine that he got this idea from some of his coworkers. I really, really do. Because again, I worked at a car lot, and I don't see that being something out of the ordinary. You'd be surprised what the car guys talk about when there's nobody selling a car.
No, I wouldn't. They're
So,
guys.
And it wouldn't even surprise me if he got this idea from a female car lot employee, because they're just as absurd as all the men are, if not worse.
You should know.
I do know. I married one. That's right. I got my first wife in prison, my second wife at the car lot. This is where I know the best fishing holes, people. No, but enough about this guy. I mean, like, seriously, this is just one of those things where it's just
what?
It doesn't make me smile.
Yes, it does.
No, it really doesn't, because this man definitely, like, crossed so many boundaries.
Let's okay.
It makes me laugh that it makes me laugh.
Okay, so the guy is without a doubt, a sexual predator. I mean, he really is, because he done touched people. Look all you want, don't be touching. Now, let's examine it though from a different perspective. How many times has somebody at the club lied about a job, lied about an income, lied about anything to take somebody home for the night, send them on their merry way in the morning, and never call them again?
Never, man. That stuff doesn't happen in real life.
No. And they walked away not feeling as though they were sexually assaulted, because they thought they were getting value for their time. If this guy's story had been a little bit more believable, he probably would have got away with it. But it's the absurdity that makes it funny. The absurdity that someone actually pulled this off. Not once, but twice.
I think the guy just got overzealous, and that's why he got caught. If he would have stopped at the titties, he probably could have got away with it, because it said right there that she didn't start getting sketchy until he started moving over other parts of the geographical regions of her body. So
the lesson learned from this whole story is, don't get greedy.
Hey, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. That's all you need to know about that one.
All right, fair enough. Moving on.
Yes, moving on. All right.
I'm using that at some point.
We'll move on to something. Now, again, this article's from back in March, but again, just something that it just popped up on my radar as something so absurd that I had to bring it up. And it's going to go to something a little more relevant to everyone out there, which is the coronavirus.
Ugh.
Yeah, but this is a tip from the Oregon Police Department to their residents. Please don't call 911 if you run out of toilet paper. Yes, correct.
I call my oldest son.
I mean, like, seriously.
Bring daddy a roll.
If you run out of toilet paper, you shouldn't be calling 911. What you do is you order Chinese food and ask for extra napkins. Because I'll tell you what, Chinese food takeout delivery comes to your house damn near after you hang up the frickin' phone.
This is
like you ordered Chinese takeout, you hang up the phone, you can't even go take a piss without a doorbell ringing before your food's there. Like, you have to plan ahead before ordering Chinese food, because it's going to get there right when you're done. So order Chinese food, get extra napkins, boom, toilet paper solved. But no, people in Oregon were calling the police department. So
you'll notice that I'm not overly surprised by this.
Right. And again, the article's not that lengthy. It's
well,
just basically so the coronavirus has not been kind to supplies of toilet paper.
It has not.
No. Along with the obvious items such as hand sanitizer and other disinfectants, the rolls of tissue have been increasingly hard to find at local markets as people stock up to hunker down during global pandemic. But please, for goodness sake, don't panic if you run out. That, at least, is the earnest request of the police department in Newport, Oregon. All right? Store shelves may not be flush with the 2-ply right now, but police warned that whatever folks may think, they cannot assist with this particular need. Instead, they helpfully offered some alternatives gleaned from the annals of human history.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Improvised instruments such as dried corn cobs.
Oh, my God, they brought the corn cobs.
And pages torn from old magazines. Hold on. Now listen to this one, okay? Seamen used old rope and anchor lines soaked in salt water. Ancient Romans used sea sponges on a stick, also soaked in salt water. They suggested, since they're a coastal town, we have an abundance of salt water available, and seashells were also used. So, I mean, like, I think it's funny that, you know, the Oregon Police Department, when they received these calls, actually started giving people tips on what else to do, but we're very adamant about the fact that they're not going to Walmart and delivering toilet paper to your house.
You know, my great uncle, he had a camp out in the woods in upstate Pennsylvania, and I remember going out there, you know, like 10, and went to the outhouse, and there was, honest to God, there was a little pyramid of corn cobs sitting in front. Now, somebody else at the camp put them there as a joke, but it was still, it took me forever to, what are the corn cobs for? How do you use the corn cobs? It's like Sylvester Stallone asking how to use the 3 seashells.
Oh, man, that was a great... Yep.
No, that was a horrible movie, but it's still fun to watch.
That was a great scene.
Okay, we'll give you that.
Because Rob Schneider was also in that, and him and Sandra Bullock made that extremely funny. But either way, going away from the movie review of the crappy movie from the 90s, you know, bidet makers have told multiple media outlets that they've seen sales of their bottom washers skyrocket in recent weeks.
Fair enough.
You know, I mean, like,
but see, I'm not surprised by people making the call because of what I do now for a living. I listen to the police radio constantly, and because there's times I have to go out on calls like that. Well, not like that, but on certain calls. And the people that call stuff in, our dispatchers relay everything. They don't filter anything out for the officers. They relay the information and let the officers make their determination. So you're constantly hearing people that are making calls in for the most stupid or racist shit you could imagine. I mean, literally, when I first moved here, I had the radio on, I was listening, and I hear the dispatcher come on there to the unit and say, RP wants you to stop by, you know, in the vicinity of 123 Main Street, whatever. There is a black male walking down the street with a gun case. That was it. And they said, well, what do you dispatch, what do you want us to do? Well, RP wants you to stop them and make sure it's not stolen.
What?
Yeah, no kidding. So now, granted, I'm going to give the officer his due. He drove by and said, "Yep, he's carrying a gun case. I'm clear."
Good for him. So, like, seriously, good for him.
But literally, I've heard the same thing with a black man carrying a box, and these just freaking Karens of the world are calling for this inane stuff. And then you have my neighbor bought a new car and they don't have a good enough job. I think they're selling drugs. I'm listening to this stuff literally coming across the radio. Now I'm a little peeved off because I think the dispatcher should have the discretion to filter some of this garbage out so it's not even going over the airwaves. But It's just the utter ridiculousness that people are actually making these calls. And the fact that people calling for toilet paper, that does not shock me in the least. I during when the pandemic first began and we started going into lockdowns and everything like that, there were people calling the police and fire departments because they couldn't get groceries. Well, you could, you just didn't want to go. So they literally wanted the police and fire departments to go get their groceries for them.
Well, you know what? I mean, now that you put it like that, it kind of makes, I don't want to say it makes sense, but it's understandable that people would do that. And you know what? It's kind of refreshing at the same time. At least they got a problem, they're calling the cops.
No, screw that. It's no. I'm not giving. No. I mean, I'm out of toilet paper. You know what? I'm using the freaking shower curtain. If I'm a guest at your house and you don't have toilet paper in the bathroom, I'm using your shower curtain. I'm not calling the cops.
I don't know if I could get away with that. Oh, no. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that I can understand where people might correlate the fact with them having an emergency. Well, who would you call in an emergency? The police. Unfortunately, that's only a super huge emergency in their mind. You know, I mean, seriously, if worse comes to worse, I mean, like, worst case scenario, absolute whatever, just wipe your hand, wipe your ass with your hand, wash.
Why do we shake with our right hands, folks? Why do we shake with our right hands? Because the left hand was for wiping your ass.
I mean, like, seriously. I mean, you know, I personally, I'm a 37-year-old man, and I have just working in the prison system. I have had my hands upon things that are more disgusting than that accidentally. So, yeah, it's not ideal, but if you got to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, either that or you just try to roll the dice with not wiping at all, which is just absolutely vile.
Oh God. Oh. Well, that and just to. Oh no, we're not doing that. No, I'm using the shower curtain.
I think the rope soaked in salt water was I
have been in. I'm not. I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I do have emergency shit situations where this is going to happen. This is going to happen in the next 30 seconds. So whether my pants are on or off, this is going to happen. So I have got up and run to the bathroom. I've also been out on surveillance, and I typically always keep a roll of toilet paper in the car because it's just habit from when I did surveillance all the time. I will go find a place in the woods. I will shit next to a creek. I don't care. But there was a time when I did not have my toilet paper, but I did have a knife. And I did have socks on that day. And they were tube socks, but they were ankle socks when I got home.
Man, I'll tell you what. I don't think that there's a red-blooded American man out there who can say that he's never wiped his ass with a sock. I mean, it's almost like a rite of passage, you know.
I've also shit in a flower pot, but that's a different story entirely.
Like you can't describe what inconvenience in life is until you've had to use your own sock as toilet paper. Like, that's a pretty good bar. Like, it really is. It's like inconvenience. We'll put that as like mild to moderate. You know, it's like, and you're now in the club. But
welcome to the club of first world problems.
Yes. I mean, like, that's about what it boils down to, man. I mean, like, if you really think that your world is about to end because you are out of toilet paper, then you really have a sheltered existence, and I'm kind of jealous of your life. Because, I mean, like, if that's the big thing that you've got going on, like I said, order Chinese food, extra napkins, problem solved.
Problem solved.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, how are you so, what's the word I'm looking for here? So just completely unprepared for life that you feel the necessary to call 911 emergency services over something like toilet paper. If you really can't get through life without the simplest of creature comforts, especially when they're saying like it was the older population calling. These are people who have lived through some shit. I mean, these are people that have adapted and overcome through their entire lives. So I don't. If you're calling for toilet paper, I mean, maybe there's more to it than just I need toilet paper. It's maybe I need help in a more dynamic way than just something to wipe my ass with.
Well, this article never specifically targeted which demographic was making these calls. It just said the citizens of Newport, Oregon.
Oh, well, in that case, it's probably the freaking... in my mind, I'm going to believe it's the early 20-somethings that are just completely ill-prepared for life because of all the participation trophies they got growing up.
Honestly, I think I might start looking to see what real estate looks like in Newport, Oregon, and because if that's the biggest problem they got there, like if people are actually that comfortable to where they are going to use 911 for shit paper, man, you know, again, I haven't researched the other like crime statistics in that area, but I would imagine that they're not that bad.
Yeah. Well, the police department they've got either A, enough of those calls, or B, they have enough time on their hands to formulate a response.
Right. I mean, like, seriously, like, I would have thought of, like, newspaper, whatever. But these people are coming up with, like, sailors used to use rope soaked in salt water. I'm like, either you just are a boundless font of useless information and we're able to just pull that out of your ass. Or you actually had to do, like, some digging in order to provide people with like a viable solution to this particular problem, and that seems like a gross misuse of police protection resources. It just really does.
It does. So, again,
but
using 911 for purposes other than actual emergencies, that is a huge violation of the social contract.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're not like at the verge of screaming and going, oh, what do I do? Then perhaps 911 is not the first place you should go looking for assistance. But whatever. I mean, that's very speculative. I'm not sitting here trying to suggest that, people lay off 911. If you think you got an emergency, call the police and let them figure it out. But I will say that toilet paper, not exactly on the high priority list as far as police involvement goes. I'm very safe. I'm very confident in making that assertion. But so
number 3.
Yes. Let's see here. Number 3.
Maybe sometime today, Buck.
I'm handicapped, and I'm having trouble getting the buttons on my phone to work.
I thought you were handy-capable.
Only when it doesn't work out as a win.
Oh my god! Hey. It's funny. When I first started working, now I'm talking like I was still in high school working. I actually got a job at Walmart, and I worked in the electronics section, and it was actually a pretty fun job. But there was a guy. He was a greeter. This is back when Walmart first started doing their whole greeter program. Now, this guy, everybody in town knew him. Everybody in town knew him. A lot of people were very standoffish of him because he had some facial deformity, and there was obviously something mental going on. And the reason behind that is because when he was younger, he was in a very, very nasty automobile accident, and it actually took out a good chunk of his brain. But there he is every time you walk in. Welcome to Walmart. Would you like a cart? That's all you ever heard him say. And I was sitting back in the break room. This is back when they had 2 break rooms. They had the big break room, and then they had the back break room that was inside the break room where all the smokers went. And I'm sitting there, and it's just a rough day. Now, when I got there, that greeter was already sitting there. So I went in there for my little 20-minute break, and I sat there. And I took every minute of my 20-minute break. Every minute of it. I got up to leave, and I looked at him, and I'm not even going to say his name, but I said, hey, you probably ought to get back up front before they come looking for you. And he looks up at me and goes, what are they going to do? I was like, you know what, dude? Fair enough. Enjoy your break. I'm out of here.
I mean, sometimes it just boils down to that. But let's see here. And I got to pick that up off the floor here. Sorry about that. And
knock into the microphone at least once more.
Handicapped.
Get off of it. I ain't buying your crap.
I can't get off of it. I'm stuck in a wheelchair. How am I going to get off?
Well, this, I've said this is not a podcast for children, but we're not going there.
Right. So, moving along to Daytona Beach, Florida.
Florida man.
Yes. A man was taken to the hospital for treatment after he was shot during 4th of July fireworks at a competition, according to the Daytona Beach Police Department. So again, a man was taken to the hospital for treatment after he was shot during a competition for the 4th of July fireworks.
Are we talking shot with a gun, or are we talking shot with fireworks?
I'm reading the article.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay. I have the speaking stick. Officers responded to a home along Hudson Street Saturday night after receiving reports of the shooting. When officers arrived, they found a man lying on his back in the driveway of the home with gunshot wounds to his chest and back, according to the report. Officers noted on scene that fireworks were being shot off into the surrounding area and that the gunshot sound probably took place during those fireworks going off.
So everyone's favorite July 4th fun game, gunshot or firework, was being played, and apparently somebody guessed right.
Either that or this guy just lost. But either way, the man told officers that someone came from behind me at the time of the interview with the victim. Officers believe that the gunshot entry point was at the center of the man's lower back with an exit point above his right upper chest area, according to a report. The man was taken to the hospital for treatment. Officers spoke with a witness at the scene who told them they saw a large crowd in the area lighting fireworks. The witness said the group appeared to be having a fireworks competition and saw the victim standing among the group at the time of the shooting. According to a report, the witness said they did not see the shooter, but rushed over to provide aid to the victim. The witness told officers the victim said they were okay and that he knew who did it, but did not provide a name.
Yeah,
so
something tells me it probably wasn't over fireworks.
Yeah, me too. Again, we have a lot of experience with the ne'er-do-wells, I would call them, and we've seen people in the prison system go to annoying lengths to protect each other. But when there's something that's just outright stupid and crazy, every single one of those guys would just go ahead and not have a problem pointing over that guy, at the guilty person, going, "That's your idiot right there." And somebody who shoots me in the back at a fireworks competition, I'm just not going to stay quiet for him. I don't care. Snitches get stitches, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all before. But you know what? If I get shot, you get caught. That's my limerick. That's, I don't know why. I don't know. What would possess you to try? It was an accident. He didn't mean to shoot.
Okay, yeah, it was an accident.
Yeah, he didn't mean to shoot me. How do you not mean to shoot somebody in the back?
No, every time you see about shootings, and especially when it's something that takes place in a household. It was an accident. It wasn't intentional. Shooting a gun is an intentional act. You cannot accidentally shoot a gun. You can be a flippin' idiot and do something stupid that results in that gun firing, but it's something that you consciously did.
Right. They never call it an accidental gunshot. They always call it an accidental discharge. I mean, seriously, this is an example of somebody just really getting it wrong with their whole concept of loyalty, because I don't see an instance.
Well, there's instances too where it's not loyalty, it's misplaced vigilantism, that I'm going to now take care of this problem myself. So I don't want the police knowing that I'm going after this person, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And that is also violation of the social contract we've all agreed to live by. We have police. Police are there for a reason. Police are not there to bring you toilet paper, but police are there to apprehend individuals that do something incredibly stupid. In this case, discharging a firearm into someone's back. You're not going to do this on your own. The most likely thing that happens is someone either gets killed, and the more likely scenario is more than one person gets killed. Because when you start shooting guns, bullets go everywhere. Now, I am a huge gun advocate. I have no problem whatsoever with firearms. I completely, Second Amendment, everything. But they are there for defense. They're not there for offense. That's what they're there for now. We are not going out there as John Q. Citizen, and we're going to solve the neighborhood's woes and problems on our own. That is what the police are for. That is what they get paid for. And contrary to what people like to say, because I've been on both sides of this now, as well as law enforcement and on the civilian side, don't cry to me, oh, the police are underpaid. No, they're not. Police get paid very well. And I'm going to quote exactly what I was told by a dumb person. Extremely dumb person. It was a captain that hired me for actually the prison system before I jumped out of there. And he looked at me and said, we don't pay you for what you do. We pay you for what you might have to do.
I hated that. I hated that line.
I agree with that line, though. I agree with that line 100%.
I agree with it, but I just hated it.
Well, it's because of who it came from. He was a dipshit. Dumb, adulterous dipshit. But that's the reality of the things. Is police in general typically have very boring days. Very boring days. Most of it's tapping stuff away on a computer because they got to document everything. But there's the reality is they may someday have to, pull their gun. They may have to shoot somebody or they'd be shot at. And that is the job that they have chosen to be in. I'm not saying they should be in those situations. God, hopefully they never have to be. But that is not the job of John Q. Citizen. So you're not going to go out there and get revenge because of something that somebody did to you or your family. That's not your job. You may want to, and you may fantasize about it, but that's not your job to do it. And that right there is the violation of the social contract.
Well, I also think that bringing a firearm to a fireworks competition might actually kind of... Well, not bringing one. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Bringing a firearm out during a fireworks competition without having the intention of using it is stupid.
Somebody had an intention. The whole thing about this thing in accidental is complete bullshit, and you know it. It was 100%. It was 100% intentional. You don't bury a gun in someone's back and accidentally discharge it. He got shot for a reason. Now, without the article saying anything, I would dare to say alcohol was probably involved, or other illicit materials. So that was probably one thing that had a component in this whole situation occurring. But even if it wasn't, you don't pull a firearm unless you have the intent to destroy something.
Right. And another thing I'd like to speculate on is what kind of fireworks competition is that? Like, they're at a fireworks competition. Well,
I spent the most money.
I don't know how things work in Florida, but, I don't live there anymore, but I will say that you and I both have experience with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And there was no way in hell that you would find a whole bunch of guys making some sort of, display out of brandishing a whole bunch of fireworks, because that's fireworks and things of that nature are done by the fire department.
Well, I got news for you, buddy. Last year, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania legalized aerial fireworks.
I'm going to recant my previous remark.
I believe you're looking for retract. But yeah, no, they actually legalized it. So it sounded like freaking World War III all throughout most communities in Pennsylvania last year. And I'm sure it did this year as well. Thank God I'm not there. But in this neighborhood I'm in now in Oklahoma, it did. I had neighbors dueling fireworks. This block would do a set, then that block would do a set. It was ridiculous. My poor dog almost shook itself to death. Even with its little thunder shirt on, which, let me tell you folks, didn't really do a whole hell of a lot, so don't waste your money.
Nah. Yeah. I never had great success with those things either, but either way.
Now we stood on the back porch. We stood on the back porch and we watched them. And my kids go, well, why didn't we get those kind of fireworks? I go, well, let's examine. Pop. $150. Pop. $150. Those things aren't cheap.
No, they are not cheap. They're not cheap.
And I'm not spending money to entertain my asshole neighbors.
Like, I can't help but wonder, was this like a sanctioned, like, official competition? Or was
I
this
highly doubt it.
Or was it, because and that's why I'm assuming that it wasn't. That's where my speculation comes in, because you've got a whole bunch of people running around and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to have a fireworks competition. That is an extremely high concentration of stupidity in one small area. You're just asking for something bad to happen. And in this particular instance, somebody got shot.
Oh,
I mean, seriously. It's almost as bad as driving in a parking lot. Parking lot accidents are the most common because you got that much stupid in that small of an area. It's catastrophe waiting to happen.
Oh, you want to see real stupid? Take a part of the country doesn't have them and throw a roundabout in a neighborhood. Oh my God. But no, you're right. Absolutely. Most of your little fender bender accidents take place in parking lots, which is why Walmart, for example, doesn't own their parking lots. Technically, they actually own two corporations. They have the Walmart Properties Corporation and they have the Walmart Store Corporation. And what they will do is the corporation that owns the property will then lease the space to the store, so that way anything that happens out in the parking lots or whatnot is not Walmart Corporation's responsibility in a civil matter. It's completely on the property owners, which is a completely separate corporation owned by the same people.
Right. But either way, these are the three winners that we have selected to be like on the marquee of the episode reel for today, because I mean, personally, my favorite is the guy giving free breast exams.
Yeah.
That's got all the recipes for like a clever B movie. Like, we should get the people who made Sharknado see if they'll take this guy's story.
Who was the guy that was in The Jerk?
Steve Martin.
See, that sounds like a Steve Martin movie.
You know what? Steve Martin's so much classier, though. I could see that being like a David Spade.
No.
I could see David.
I'm giving that to Steve Martin. I think he would do excellent in that role. Or maybe even Bill Murray. He's old enough now.
Oh, no. I could see Bill Murray being a great, great tit inspector. Because, you know what? I mean, like, his hair would go all over the place like it did in Kingpin. I mean, like, oh, yeah, it would be great. I mean, like, Bill Murray would be the best peacock to strut his feathers on that arena.
So, if anybody would like, they can forward this episode to Bill Murray's people, and if he decides to make that movie, if we could just get something in the credits. I don't even want any money. Just give me something in the credits.
Throw my name in the credit reel. Yep.
Nothing that makes me have to join SAG, but just get me in the credit reel somewhere.
And I don't want to share any of the liability that might happen from lawsuits either. Like, special thanks to, not not involved in the production of.
Yeah. So I think that's going to conclude this week's episode of the Social Liability Podcast. Let us know what you think of this format. It's a little bit different than the first episodes we did, and we're kind of digging it and about thinking about having these news stories come up, and we're going to discuss them every week. But let us know what you think in the comments, and make sure you're listening to us on any freaking at this point podcast platforms such as Anchor, Apple, Spotify, Overcast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Castbox, Public Radio, or Radio Public. Yeah, Public Radio. Radio Public. And of course, you can always catch it on YouTube if you absolutely have to, which are available just by searching for the Mount Moon Crew. Buck, do you have anything else for us?
Other than the fact that I hope everybody enjoys themselves and try not to get any convictions for being a fake doctor. Come up with a different spiel.
Yep, and we'll look forward to the Bill Murray pilot for this new show. It's going to come out. So that being said, folks, have a great week. We'll see you on the next episode.